Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day today. I'm really happy to be going in today for the third time to get that thing done. I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to have my video flagged by YouTube or anything. There are certain things you're not allowed to say on YouTube, just in case you're not aware. If you say certain things, they flag your videos. Anyway, let's get started. The very first thing I want to talk about is the picture here. You can't really see it very well because it's a picture of a picture of a picture of an album that is in Brazil that my mom took. I asked her to do it. As a matter of fact, the next time I go to Brazil, I'm going to go through all my old stuff and I'm going to scan every single picture of every single trip that I have made in my life. The picture is when I was living in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia. At that time, you know where Atlanta, Georgia is? Georgia is a state in the United States. Atlanta is a city in that state. The United States is divided into 50 states, and those states are divided into cities. Here in Norway, you don't really have states. You have something called fylke, and then you have byer, and that's what you have. But you don't really have states. It's too small a country to have states. As a matter of fact, you can fit Norway inside the United States a number of times. It is a tiny country with so many good things, and it's so much better than so many other countries. But I digress. So I was living in Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia the state, Atlanta the city. And in that picture, I was probably 5 years old. I'm going to say I was 5 years old. You can't really tell. I'm in the front of the picture. My dad's in the back. There is a mural in the back with pictures of somebody, and you can't really tell in the picture because, like I said, there's a picture of a picture of a picture of a picture that my mom took. But here it is. I'm going to say some things, and you're going to know who was in that mural. If I say to you, I have a dream. I have a dream. What comes to mind when I say that to you? Let me go a little bit further with this. Who comes to mind when I say that? I have a dream. Please type in chat. I am hoping that you're going to have the right answer because you've been studying English for so long. And I know that the program here in Norway is really rich in history, geography, and culture, as well as literature of the countries where English is spoken. So I'm pretty sure that people are going to know who I'm talking about. So when I say to you, I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its deed. We hold this truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day, on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I'm not going to say the whole speech because it was a long speech, but you know who this was, right? Everybody knows who this was and how important he was to the civil rights movement in the United States of America. Dr. Martin Luther King was incredibly pivotal in what happened in the United States in the 60s. There was freedom, all right, after slavery was abolished in the 1800s, but there was still segregation. If you're a black person, you couldn't sit in the front of the bus, you had to sit in the back. And Dr. Martin Luther King fought for the rights of black people in the United States. Yesterday, which was the second, or was it the third? 1, 2, 3, the third Monday of January. I'm just checking my calendar to make sure. The third Monday of January is when we celebrate Martin Luther King's Day in the United States. So I thought it felt appropriate to talk about that. And I'm sharing with you this picture that you can barely see because it's a picture of a picture of a picture. Like I told you, my mom took it. I think you can see my mom's hand holding the album as well. When I was 5 years old, I was living in the United States at the time, and I was able to visit the museum, the Martin Luther King Museum. And that was incredible to me. My parents were really big on teaching us geography, history, and teaching about culture through trips. Every time we traveled somewhere, we learned something. And that's what I learned when I was 5. I learned about Dr. Martin Luther King. And I'm pretty sure you knew who he was. You guys knew because you have a fantastic education here in Norway. But if you didn't know or if you had forgotten, I hope you will remember now. We went to the museum, the Martin Luther King Museum. I'm not sure, we couldn't take pictures inside of the museum. So Daddy had us stand outside and he took this picture where you can see me as a little child. I had my hair up all the time. I never wore my hair down. I used to have very long hair, but I wore it up all the time like that. And visiting this museum was a fantastic experience. I would like you to tell me really quickly and in a short sentence about one trip that you made to any country or even any city that had a historical meaning to you, that you learned something. Go. I'm just waiting for you to type it in. So I want to hear somebody say to me, I went to Oslo and I was able to see the building which is the castle where the royal family has lived for this many years. That's a trip with a historical meaning. A museum that you visited somewhere, a historical museum. There are museums of art, and there are museums of history, historical museums. I've always loved all of them, all types of museums. It's very important that you share this type of experience and you know how to write about it, because this is something that could be on your exam. Right now, there's a lot of talk about the Black Lives Matter movement. There is a lot of talk of a civil war in the United States coming because of all the different problematic issues with race in the United States. And the foundations, the underpinnings for all of that are all the way in the 60s with the civil rights movement. So this book right here that I told you, please take it home. And I told you, hey, I don't have a very good camera to take pictures. Please take your book home. And I'm wondering how many of you listened when I said that. I know a lot of you have traveled to Spain. I know a lot of you have traveled to England. So I want you to just write in a sentence about a trip that was special to you and that had historical meaning. And we're going to get started with something really soon. But I want you to answer this. I want to see as many people as possible typing about this. The pages I assigned for today, they start on 164. Page 164. It is a chapter with the name of the book, Citizens. How many of you can tell me what a citizen is? What's a citizen? If I say to you, I am a Brazilian native, but I am a citizen of Norway. What does that mean? Please type. Or if you're on your phone typing into Messenger, please type. I will respond as quickly as I can. Sometimes I don't get to all the answers at once, but I'll get to it. What is a citizen? This is the page that you should be looking at. I want to, but for some reason I can't. It doesn't matter. That's the page you should be looking at. I took a picture of it last year, and I have it on this computer when I was teaching this very same class. So a citizen is a person who lives somewhere. There are lots of types of citizens. Legal citizens, illegal citizens. What's a legal citizen of a country? Please type it. What is a legal citizen of a country? What is a legal citizen of a country? Legal. Just think of what the word legal means. What does that word mean? Legal. Type it in. I want to see what you think. To live somewhere, you need to have a document that allows you to live there. A lot of people think Norway is a fantastic country, and they think to themselves, I think I'm going to pack my bags, I'm going to sell everything that I have, and I'm going to buy myself a ticket to Norway. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get a beautiful house over there. I'm going to buy a car, and I'm going to live like a king in Norway. Can a person just pack up and do that? They can't, right? You need a document. Let me give you an example. I came here. I didn't choose, no, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't choose Norway because of how fantastic it is. I was studying in Australia, getting my master's degree in education. That's the reason why I'm a teacher, not because I speak English well and I am teaching it. It's because I have the education in teaching. So when I was studying there, I met a Norwegian man, and we got married. Long story short, after living in Australia and Brazil, we moved to Norway. And I came here on a family reunion visa. And after that, I applied for residence. So I'm a citizen. I am not necessarily, I'm not Norwegian. I'm still Brazilian. I'm a Brazilian native, a Brazilian citizen, but I live here. I'm a resident. I believe the best word to describe me is resident, not exactly citizen, because I'm still Brazilian. That's my country of citizenship. So you can't just pack up and say, hey, I'm going to go and live in this place or that place. Nope, not time for that yet. But very important for you to know, citizenship is sometimes related to your nationality. And if you live in a country long enough, you can get citizenship and change your nationality, which I didn't do. So I am a resident. I'm going to type these 3 words in there: resident, citizen, and national. I'm a Brazilian national. Anyway, the reason why we're talking about all of that, first of all, name of your book, Citizens. This book and the chapter that we're studying now, Citizens, it talks about belonging somewhere. And everybody is a citizen of the world. As a citizen of the world, you are somebody that is connected with the entire world because you can relate to different cultures. And I'm saying you, and I mean you, all my students, my Norwegian students who are able to get an education in foreign languages. You're very privileged because you get to choose Spanish, French, German, Italian. I think some schools offer Italian. And you have English for at least 11 years of your life in school. That is what makes you somebody who is able to communicate with the entire world. So you should really appreciate that. Let's get started on this chapter. And I want you to look at the picture on page 165. You have some symbols. Do you understand what I mean by symbols? I'm sure you do. I wish I could turn this around. I don't think that I can. But you can see the picture. So that's the important part, that you can see the picture. I want you to look at that statue in the middle, holding her hand up with a torch like that. What is that statue called, and where is it located? Please type it. That statue is a symbol not only of that city in the United States, but also in many cases the symbol for the United States. People look at that statue, they go, USA. That's the Statue of Liberty in the United States. People go immediately. They look at that and they know immediately. Now, I want you to look at that bus, that two-story bus. I'm not sure if I should be calling it a two-story bus. Let's just call it that red bus. Do you think of a city or a country in the world when you look at that bus? It's a double-decker bus. Two-story house, double-decker bus. Please type. Although those buses exist in many parts of the world, probably, they're not exclusively made in that country, but a lot of people think of England. Better yet, they think of the United Kingdom when they look at those buses. They're very symbolic. Having that in mind, I want you to look at other symbols in the picture. There is a bird in that picture. Does anybody know what bird that is? Take your time and type it in. Because that bird is a symbol for a country as well. I'll give you a hint. Everything that we're talking about today in this picture, I am exclusively talking about symbols of English-speaking countries. I want you to tell me what that bird is and what country it represents, if you know. If you didn't know before, you will know it today after this class. Those of you who said that bird is an eagle, you were right. And those of you who connect the eagle with the United States, you're right. That bird is very symbolic. People think of that eagle, the American eagle, as a representative of their country. It's another symbol. Just like when you think of Norway, there is probably something, a symbol. What is a symbol for Norway, in your opinion? Go ahead and type it for me so I know. Some people might say the Viking hats are a symbol for Norway. The Northern Lights are a symbol for Norway. People from different countries have different opinions about Norway and different things they associate, they connect with Norway. Brazilians connect codfish with Norway because Norway exports codfish to Brazil. So what we're talking about here today, we're talking about culture, we're talking about symbolic aspects of different cultures. And I want you to go to that page 164. Let me see if I can find a better arrangement to put this page up for you. And I want you to look at the 3 questions there, A, B, and C. I'm going to open it on my browser, and I'm going to make this work, because that's what I do. I am going to make this work. I'm going to move a little bit so that you can read. I hope you can read. Where it says reflect. Question A. What does the word culture mean to you? Please type in chat. Just type a few words, whatever comes to mind. Next one. B. Before we answer B, I want you to tell me what a democracy is. It doesn't matter if some of you are still typing what culture means to you, and some of you are already doing B. Well, not yet, but first you have to tell me what democracy is, and then you can tell me what the best thing about living in a democracy is. I really want to hear your opinions about this. Those 3 questions, what does the word culture mean to you? What is the best thing about living in a democracy? And C, if you had to move to an English-speaking country, which would you choose and why? There's no right or wrong answer. It's really about you and how you feel and what you think. And it's interesting to hear your opinions and what you think. And you will often be asked to do that, to talk about what you think, how you view things. So it's important. If you open Canvas later on, you will know exactly what you're supposed to do for the day. We're going to do a few rounds. I'm going to say 3 rounds of Quizlet Live. And after that, you will have a break, and then you'll go to lunch. And at 12:30, you'll come back to YouTube again. I have to go get that thing done for the 3rd time. I don't want to say what it is, because if you talk about these things, your videos can get censored on YouTube. Anyway, so those 3 questions, I want you to answer them Please look at Canvas. Yesterday when I was at school, I put out on Canvas where it says Besheder. I put it up there, all the exercises that you have to do for the day. But at 12:30, I want you to come back to YouTube. Right now, we're going to do 3 rounds of Quizlet Live. Remember, just because Quizlet Live may be playing on the screen, it doesn't mean that it started. It is a sample game. A sample. I'm trying to play it myself. Just for future reference. If somebody stumbles upon this game, this video, they will know what Quizlet Live is and what we were doing. That's all. So just because the game started on the screen doesn't mean that it has already started for you. Might not have started yet. So wait until you see the code, and then you can go straight in. The song is not playing, so I'm just going to talk through this. Every time they tell us which bus to take, we forget which one it is. Michael, who called Allison last night, is a liar. Mariah is the girl whose dog I was taking care of yesterday. He is the man I told you about. Michael, whom I saw twice last month, has disappeared. Mariah is the girl whom I invited to the party. Remember, you have to use whom whenever. Here's a rule of thumb when you have a preposition before it. To whom, about whom. That's when you use whom. You're probably not really used to seeing this word, but it is an important word that you should know. This is the girl to whom I spoke yesterday. Michael, who is a chef here, is reading a book. This is the broken car which I drove here. This is the girl I read a book to yesterday. So here you don't need to use who, but you can. You can say, this is the girl to whom I read a book yesterday. Or you can just say, this is the girl I read a book to yesterday. She is the girl to whom I gave a gift. So we may or may not have already played 3 rounds of Quizlet Live. Look at Canvas and do your activities. And at 12:30, meet me again on YouTube.